Joshua Oigara, CEO, KCB Group. It's a pleasure to be talking to you after the release of your Q3 earnings. If I can just first of all just dive into the hard numbers. 17% acceleration in profit before tax.
Correct.
Loan book size, how much growth did we see there?
So 17% size of loan book as well. Yeah, but many areas we've done absolutely well. I think we've seen now small and medium enterprises loan book growing by 53%.
What is the size of that book now?
Well, now it's perhaps passing over 20 billion shillings.
I mean, you're very passionate about that part of the economy.
Absolutely. And I'll be very I'll tell you that when we launched our initiative this year with Safaricom in July, which is the Biashara Smart, targeting a million entrepreneurs.
I came to that event, actually.
And we have done 1 billion shillings of loans in a period of 3 to 4 months, 100,000 loans applied or approved.
So 10,000 shilling average ticket size.
Absolutely, and that's what we said. What we said, it's not going to be the big ticket loans, but the frequency and velocity. I mean, this is really an accelerator of change.
And people like this, where would they have got their liquidity prior to your offering?
So traditionally, it was very difficult for them to be able to go in, and they're going to borrow from a friend, or they're going to be able to struggle for a long time. And remember that they're not secured.
Yes.
Yeah. But we are looking at the credit scoring of this kind of customers.
Yes, and I think you mentioned to me that actually you were seeing a very low default rate.
Yeah, we are seeing 0.2, 0.3, but it's negligible today.
Yes, yes.
But I think if you paraphrase, the whole issue about financial inclusion and creating opportunities for people to build their businesses, or creating people to have extraordinary dreams for their business, naturally what we find is that their ability to pay back their loans is very high. They're absolutely committed to be able to pay their loans. And that's an area we like to do. When we talk about 1 million people, you can imagine creating 2 million jobs in 2 years.
How big is that business potentially in terms of customers and in terms of book
we
size?
We target ourselves that 45% of our economy today is moving through small and medium enterprises. Perhaps that is one of the highest in East and Central Africa, or perhaps in Sub-Saharan Africa today. And we believe that obviously up to 30% of our business in the medium term can be in this kind of sector.
So we saw a lot of growth in that sector, a very successful start to the Biashara Smart.
Exactly. We've also seen a very, very good growth on our micro enterprises.
Yes, micro enterprises, what size?
So kind of small, growing up by 40% at this year-on-year basis. Small, perhaps they'll be borrowing 2,000, 3,000 shillings.
Mostly through the mobile?
All of them through the mobile. And that's been a good case for us in terms of how we see the opportunities.
How many people are coming at KCB through the mobile platform?
So today we've reached 1 million customers with the mobile phone. Wow. This year alone, actually. And that for me is exciting in 3 ways. One, we're able to provide, I said, dignity for millions of people who didn't have an opportunity. But also it improves productivity. Nothing excites me like if you're going to the market and you're selling vegetables, you're selling fruits, and you're going to leave your business to come back to the bank. You're saying, absolutely, where you're going to be able to be, you do your business. So if you look at that, you can run your business for more hours. So if you can add 1 hour to your business today, out of your 8-hour days.
You're adding a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, for me, that's where I see the connection. And that kind of emergence. It wouldn't have happened, of course, if we didn't have a very strong partner like Safaricom in the way we do our businesses. They have a common vision and a kind of capability to deliver a better nation, a better region, and a better continent.
No, I mean, it's a fantastic achievement. And then if we go up, from micro, small and medium type size enterprises, what's happening at the big corporate level?
So a massive opportunity, Alikan. We have over close to $1 billion worth of loans which have been approved in various stages of disbursement. That's massive. I mean, that's 20% of our portfolio today.
Wow. And this is in the pipeline for
it's perhaps on a pipeline for 2 years or 3 years. Like many sectors, we see a lot of activity now in energy. So whether it's a geothermal, we see wind energy. We see some big facilities now in drilling companies today in the north of Kenya. We've seen
energy, oil and gas.
We've seen a lot as well on infrastructure, meaning roads and railways, big ticket deals, pipelines.
And what's the ticket size that KCB can write?
Wow, today we could do $200 million.
$200 million in one ticket.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I guess our objective here, and this is why we introduced our own investment advisory or investment bank, so we want to build collaboration among local banks to say, can we go for $1 billion facility? Can we go for $500 million facility collectively? in this case, it's about more cooperation and synergy rather than fighting. There's too much deals today in the market. When you see the expansion of the economy today at 5.8 or 5.9%, that's the real growth. And that the growth is being powered by access to credit by financial institutions. I didn't talk about other sectors. We see a lot of today more demand on sectors, for instance, on horticulture.
Yes.
So for export. We see some new deals in agriculture, especially if it is agriculture based on irrigation agriculture today.
Because agriculture has been in a bit of a soft spot, Joshua, with the tea prices. What are you seeing? Are you seeing innovation? Because this has been another passionate area for you as well. Livestock farming, you've done a lot there. Yes. So
I would say for us, you know, if you look at one area that you can have a largest multiplier today in economic activity, it's in livestock.
Okay.
I mean, you can multiply your returns and gains on an impact society 11 times. I am not aware of any activity today you can, and every single family today has got some form of livestock. It doesn't have to be, it can be goats, can be sheep, can be chicken, can be anything, can be camel. And what we have seen in our foundation, in our enterprise development program, we said we're going to launch $1 billion water facility in the next 4 to 5 years.
And the enterprise facility was designed to accelerate farming and agriculture.
We have 3 main goals. We said, one, we want to be able to double the productivity of a farmer. So today, if you got 2 liters, we want to make it 4 liters. You see?
And have you seen these gains?
And wow, it's been massive interest. You know, I mean, I think that our $1 billion facility is insufficient from what I see. We are bringing in more partners locally, internationally, to say, can we build a bigger fund? Because it's an interest-free fund over the next 4 to 5 years. And what I like is that people are already prepared to be able to see accelerate their own momentum, financial capability and empowerment across, whether it's from Kwale today, to Kisumu today, to Garissa, to Narok. You know, it's every single part of the nation. For me, that's exciting. Obviously, then the large corporates will continue to remain a key driver of economic activity. I didn't talk about trade and retail. We've seen some of our big customers like Nakumatt, you know, expanding aggressively into the region, taking over other groups, consolidating the businesses. And that's an area that we continue to provide strategic. We have a lot of a team with capability in this area of trade finance and structured finance in the region. I don't think there's any bank that can do locally what KCB skills.
Can I quickly touch on 2 points? You know, you were mentioning the investment bank. I think for some people, you know, what's happening with the investment bank? Can I ask?
So ultimately, we started this business this year, and our view is really to partner strategically on a bigger project to consolidate local skills and capabilities. So one of the areas we worked very well is with the government's private-public partnership unit today on bringing around life the annuity financing model.
Oh, for the roads.
For the roads. And that's an area we worked on for the last 6 months with the National Treasury to say, we have the skills we can bring on the table. And ultimately, it's not just good for us, it's good for the nation. It's good for the region. You could not imagine how many countries, Tanzania is asking, can we do something like this? You see, we see the same questions today in Uganda. And that is how we want to build local bred solutions for our businesses. We will not want to, we're not fighting to become an international investment bank. It's not our objective. But we have the local contact, we have the regional reach, we understand the regional business operations. And Alikan, I've always said I'm a strong believer in partnership, collaborations with many leaders today. So but I get excited about that. And in the words of Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, he has always insisted, in my view, and I had a chance to interview him.
Which I remember. And well
he
done.
said Africans must be built by Africans today. And I think that is the kind of race we're running today in this generation for KCB.
That's very interesting. Joshua, can I now, and that whole sort of spirit of collaboration, which I think is you've imbued the organization with, has paid great dividends already as far as I can see. And so congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I can turn, you know, KCB is of course not just a Kenyan bank. You're in the entire EAC region and in South Sudan. Can you give us a perspective? I mean, obviously Kenya remains still the anchor of the bank, but can you tell us what's happening in these other countries? Are you as optimistic? I saw in the numbers there were a couple, I mean, South Sudan, you seem to have slowed that down a little bit, and Uganda, I think there was a special situation. Would you just tell us?
So I would say, Alikan, it's a very good question to explain the context of the region, and sometimes it's not well understood. So Kenyan economy today, at around about $45 billion, is half
of the EAC.
Of the EAC. And if you include the intra-Kenya trade within the region, Kenya's contribution will be more like 2/3 of the region.
Yes.
So over the next momentum of years, you will find that Kenya still remains a bigger economy in terms of trade, in terms of business, investment, and is a natural regional hub of businesses. And we have a lot of Kenyan business today that are doing activities across all the countries in EAC. And you don't see a lot of that. We now start seeing new companies from the region coming into Kenya to set up operations, like from Rwanda, for instance, and Uganda.
Oh, you are seeing that, are you?
Exactly.
Because for a long time, the story was you Kenyans are going everywhere.
Exactly, exactly. And therefore, it's a story that we like the momentum. And for me, it's how to completely take the opportunity to grow the region to a higher level collectively. It's never a Kenya versus the region kind of philosophy for us. It's a region together working closely. And South Sudan has been a special case for us. We've seen strengthening of our business. We took a view of not expanding our loan portfolio this year for two main reasons. We've been working very closely with the government in South Sudan to say, can we kind of run towards a peaceful settlement of the crisis? It's not just good for us, for our business, but it's good for every single person in South Sudan. And I'm happy that we are seeing progress.
You feel there is progress?
There's progress, maybe not at the same pace that we could have expected. But in negotiations like this, it takes time. I think that if you look at the bullet of 12 months, it isn't a very long time for this kind of nations. So that's an area. But we are very well poised. So we've also been very cautious. We've taken, in my view, much higher provisions that we should have taken. We've provided 27% of our loans today. I do believe that as we go into Q1 2015, we have a significant write-back opportunity for our markets. So it's going to rebound very strongly for us in the coming year.
And you have a very strong position.
Absolutely. We see a lot of businesses for us in South Sudan. And remember that Juba has continued to grow significantly as a key center for our business. If I look at Uganda, overall in terms of growth, Uganda is growing significantly today. The top line is growing at 30%. I think we've had one of our large loans in Uganda which has not performed in the last quarter. And that's not much in our business. We should be in a position to turn it around this year. So I'm looking at, Uganda has been a darling on performance if you look for us for the last 4 to 5 years.
And is that sort of signaling to us that Uganda is getting lift off in terms of GDP expansion?
Exactly, exactly. I mean, this is all, many years ago I talked about we are in an epicenter of change and transformation in the region. I think if you look at Uganda's story, look at Rwanda perhaps today. Our business in Rwanda.
You've been there several times.
Exactly.
You hosted the president.
Well, our business is now 10% of the market in Rwanda. I mean, this is 5 years later. And it's not even about the size of the bank, but we are today running in each and every of the districts in the country, able to provide.
But that's been a KCB philosophy, hasn't it? That if you go into a market, that you actually put a geographical footprint.
Exactly. And it's a fantastic opportunity. I mean, I get excited about the Rwanda story myself because in the words of Paul Kagame, the president, he says in the last 6 to 7 years, they've been able to lift over 1 million people out of poverty. And it's a reality.
Remarkable story.
And so it's an outlier here. It's a true catalyst. Now, over 150 million people in EAC today. If we just lift 10%.
That's a lot of people.
In the next 5 years or in the next decade, you can imagine the springboard you will do for the size of the economies. And that is the opportunity I talk about. For me, or for us in KCB, what we see is not lack of opportunity in the region. We're going to be able to build more strengths collectively, increase the size and the capacity of the financial institutions, in terms of even capital, to be able to do the bigger projects that will transform the nations and the lives and societies. So a good example is the road project, which you talked about. 10,000 kilometers, Alican.
But what is the model? Because I think a lot of people might not know that this was a new model.
So largely speaking, if you assume that you're going to do a road at 30, 40 million shillings a kilometer, is 400 billion. Well, that is 25% of the Kenyan size of the banking sector.
My word.
It's massive. It's one project.
Wow.
And it works very differently. I mean,
so how does it work?
The way it's structured today now is you're going to look at a different consortium of engineers, banks, people that design the road, the national government, so that you basically do the banks finance more of a longer term contract today for 5 to 10 years or 5 to 7 years, and then they received fixed payments from the national government based on the amount of money they've allocated.
So for the banks, you're getting a better credit risk.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And
exactly.
for the government, it's spreading the payments.
Absolutely. And then, you know, naturally people look at the road construction over 1 year.
Yes.
Very few roads
I
get finished
in that period.
Yeah, in maybe 6 months or 12 months.
So you're sinking the outlook.
And then if you open up a lot of these roads across, you know, whether you are in Kiambu today, whether you are today in West Pokot, whether you are today in Garissa, Alikan, you create momentum for our people to create economic activity. Just look at Thika Road.
It's extraordinary. I was looking at, the price rises.
Absolutely.
The road is filled up.
Look at the different development, the schools, the universities, the businesses.
But can we replicate that kind of thing across the country? You know, will we be doing that? Is our ambition of that scale, Joshua?
Well, I believe that's a massive investment for us. But all I would say that for my farm of tea or coffee, or if you're selling maize or wheat, access to the market is the single largest inhibitor for value discovery today. So if you make it easy for me to reach the market much quicker, I can cut down my delivery cost by 30–40%. And that's the basic way we're going to start from. So a good example for me, for instance, is you're doing your Nairobi in my Mayu Narok road. And that road has given a huge impetus for businesses in that area. So it's going to take some time. But I believe that it's one thing, if you get right, two things that really engender change completely in our business or in the nation. Infrastructure by roads, infrastructure by energy. Those two. And I like that the government, I'm very pleased that they're looking at both aspects. Looking at improving the cost of business in terms of energy delivery. They're looking at higher infrastructure in terms of investment in the roads network and the railway network as well in the country. Those two. The rest, I say our dream as leaders is to bring together and inspire millions of our people to run an extraordinary race. And they can run their business.
I want to come back to one number because I need to give you credit for this, because I've been coming up and down this lift of yours and meeting all your predecessors, and that's the cost-to-income ratio. And the latest, I think you're actual at 48.3%. Joshua, you deserve a big pat on the back, because the number of times I've heard that this number is going to come down, and you've really wrestled it lower. What have you done there? Because this has beaten a lot of your predecessors.
Well, I would say maybe in a way, Alikan, we're running a journey over time. And the KCB story in the last 3 years has been building a story of running a super excellent business. And when you looked at our costs over time, what we've done so far now is to say, can we utilize technology and ICT today to enhance efficiency, to reduce duplication and multiplicity of different kind of processes today? So we've done a lot of consolidation using techie. And you know, maybe that's one of the advantages of being more digital, is to say, can it be delivered? And it's a real example, not just speaking, but even if you look at my office today.
I was about to mention that.
Absolutely.
You characterized it as a digital office. I thought that was the best.
I could work from anywhere else. I don't have to be here in my office to do. But I think that's one aspect. Then obviously we've been able to deploy huge infrastructure across the region, consolidating this, you know, in terms of delivery channels. We are now able to see, we ride on very strongly on our partnership with Safaricom in terms of the rollout of their fiber, you know, across all our branches. You know, more than up to today, 80% of our branches are now running on the Safaricom network.
On the fiber network.
Exactly. And we intend to achieve 100% in the next year. And that has changed the way.
So this new technology revolution is.
So we're also pushing the envelope to say, you know, can you invest more, because we're already there? You know, they were the only company that will give a solution to connect Masai Mara branch, which we did last year. It was looking an impossible task. And that gives you an opportunity. Number two, obviously, we've been able to say, can we build on costs today and build efficiency in the way the organization procures its services? So we consolidated the procurement across the region. And Alikan, we've saved in the last 3 years close to 4 billion shillings.
Wow.
Am I happy with the progress?
Yes.
I think we could have done more.
Really?
We could have done more. I mean, obviously, 48% efficiency is perhaps quite ahead of our target. You know, we said we want to be.
Your peer group,
exactly.
Compare it to
Absolutely. So I see that we need to invest a little bit much more in the next 2 to 3 years. And so 3 things we are going to do now.
Yes, what are you going to do?
It's completely refresh our core banking system next year to the latest globally version of T24, version 14, which will put us at par with European markets, American markets, Asian markets. And it will be the first implementation in Africa, actually.
Wow.
So it gives us a chance to grow our customers to 50 million.
Wow. What are the customer numbers now?
So today, you can imagine we're at 4 million.
You gained 1 million customers.
This year. We want to target 5 million. We should be at 5 million this year. We're targeting 10 million next year. So it gives you the capacity. But also then it will increase the level of transactions we're going to be able to do by the new system, which you're going to be able to move on. Remember that we are 6 versions behind by now. And I think it's a fantastic opportunity to showcase a level of innovation using a new technology solution. The future of our business is, and then it will also enable us to go much stronger on the digital payment side. You know, whether it's moving away from the cash payments to cashless payments, Alican, is a big part. If we look at transit or transport sector, we have our own prepare card that we've launched. We expect to issue 1 million cards this year and early next year.
This is for people who want to use public transport. They don't have to carry cash.
Massive opportunity today. And we don't lack people that, I mean, the market for us to start planting the revolution in terms of how you digitize payments, improve efficiency today, and perhaps be able to collect much more revenue, both to the investors and to the owners of those businesses, and give much more safety to our customers who are traveling in each of the public sector vehicles today. That's a fantastic, and then you go with that and make sure that you can use that in the school payment system today. You go back and do that in the supermarkets payments today. You go back and do it on your Lomo kiosk payments. So as you look at enhancing our merchants and our agents for payment, we're going to dramatically change from today our 10,000 agents by end of this year to 100,000 agents next year.
What is the volume of business coming through the agents? Is it at where you expected? Are you?
So today perhaps we're going to do much more activities than today. We estimate that we are doing 10% of our business today as agents, 15% of our business through the mobile. Wow. In fact, mobile has run ahead of agency, run ahead of our ATM network, gone ahead of our branch network.
But in such a short period of time.
Yes, because largely, you know, it's about lifestyle. I love when my customer tweets on social media and says, I love my bank because I can do my banking while in traffic.
Yes.
It couldn't happen 2 years ago.
By the way, Joshua, I commend you because I see you're ahead of the curve on the social media side as well.
I must thank you, Alican. I mean, it would never have happened until we started this journey 3 years ago.
It's been an exciting journey, and I appreciate it. And listening to you and hearing you talk about technology, I think also, you know, your understanding of this new landscape is ahead of the curve, in my opinion, Joshua.
This is what we will see more and more. My vision is to say, most institutions, not just, you know, because technology is changing completely every single business as we knew it. It's not just banking. You know, the guy that sells, you know, flowers today, for instance, just down here in Kencom House, today it's mobile payments and delivery. I mean, it's changed the way he looks at it right now.
It's amazing.
You see, and through the phone, he already has the map of the delivery point using Google Maps. So it's just
unbelievable, isn't it?
So you're going to be disrupted in your business if you're not driving your engagement using technology going forward. That's my belief. So coming back on the payment side, it's you know, so in terms of acquiring, you know, more digital payments, we still have the largest network today. You know, whether it's the largest, obviously it's been very good on retail stores today. It's been very good on the hospitality industry today, you know, aviation industry. But we do believe that we want to actually leapfrog this kind of investment with our partnership with Safaricom by next year, Q1 next year, saying that we talk about the transport sector being a 300 billion shilling annually in terms of revenue. Now, most of it today is cash-based. And I think it will take time before we see it convert fully into cash light. Obviously, but if we target even 20%, Alican at 60 billion. So that gives you the chance of how you can transform, but not just beyond how much money. I like to see, as a bank, as I spoke about our sustainability report, just a little bit beyond just making money. It's doing good business. It's good for profit. It's good for long-term sustainability of our business. So if you imagine once in a while, you know, when you're traveling with the bus and you're going somewhere from here, you're going to Nakuru and back, you just want to make sure that your money is in your wallet, your money is in your mobile wallet, your money is in your card wallet, and that's it. It's much easier in terms of peace of mind. Yeah,
it is.
And then you can, it's very universal. You can then use that in your supermarket shopping, you use that in your transport, use that to pay your school fees, buy your ticket if you're traveling. That is how we interconnect the lifestyle of our customers. If we can make it easier and simpler, I think we're creating a new revolution first in the banking sector. Because largely as banks, we are very complex. Our philosophy is to simplify the way we see and we enable customers to achieve their visions. They have different visions. Whether you're sitting running a multinational inter-regional businesses or you're running a small startup today, we want to be at the center to enable you to make progress in your business. And our role is to make sure that simplicity and make sure that we have solutions that enable you to achieve your vision wherever you are. So when we launch our sustainability, it's something largely we don't talk about in
But you've set aside a particular percentage, haven't you, for that program?
Absolutely. We say, but you know, it's going to go in each and every part of our business. We could say maybe it's early stages, and I must thank you know, Safaricom under the leadership of Bob Collymore today, having been an outlier in this in the market. And we have to speak much more about doing good business. Is, you know, dealing with the issues about rights, children, labor, corruption, ethics, code of business, fraud. We're going to talk about how we invest in society.
You let go a number of people, Joshua. I saw that you put out a report 2 weeks ago that have you taken a different approach to these matters, do you feel?
So the good thing about this, Alikan, is that we are also doing it now across the banking sector. We've actually adopted a similar initiative at the Kenya Bankers Association. Because, you know, we're going to address these issues boldly now, going forward. You cannot sweep this matter under the carpet for a long time and hope to build an extraordinary business. And the more we talk about it, obviously, people say, well, that will impact on your reputation. Correct? But the reality of the matter is that you're losing money. Your matter, there is your staff are unethical, for instance. And not many staff. Yes, we talked about 90 staff, but it's less than 1% of 6,100 staff today. So it's not the biggest amount of staff you're talking about. But what I like about it is that it's then building a business and speaking to our investors around 4 main themes of our business. We believe that beyond financially being sustainable, so making returns, delivering the ROAs, we need to build an economic sustainability, managing enterprise-wide risk, making sure that even as we continue to grow across political frameworks in the region, we're looking at the geopolitical risks in the countries where we're operating, and making sure that the business assesses those risks initially to guarantee the next 50 years of our business. We're also looking at the social sustainability. Are we today collectively connecting millions of Kenyans to financial capability, giving them resources? Sometimes we call it financial inclusion. At what level? And so the enterprise development program is one such. And say, if you can lift, the challenge for Africa today, Alikan, in my view, is to lift millions of people higher in terms of the income levels. It's not about you versus me. It's about collectively building a better future for our children and for the future generations.
But to lift, how do we lift those people?
So we're going to be able to provide for themselves financial capability and resources. That is the biggest challenge we face today. So for me, when I see 1 million entrepreneurs who set up under on Biashara Smart, we said, can we in a way make sure they have access to affordable credits today in an easy manner? And if they can double their business in the next year, then that's 2 million businesses created. And that's how you do it. It's a smaller way.
But it's huge.
And I've always believed that it's not going to be a big bang that changes or revolutionizes Africa. It's going to be the benchmarking of best practice across the world that will give us there.
That's fantastic.
So will we build the next Boeing aircraft in the continent? I think we can benchmark solutions. We can provide mobile technology capabilities. We are sitting globally today, the most innovative country today with M-Pesa and mobile money. Can we share that experience across 100 nations? I think that would be an outlier in there. So we're going to build on our competitive advantages as a nation today to become globally a giant in the next 10 years. And then lastly, we're talking about environmental sustainability. We're going to speak to the planet. Alikan, we don't want to be a dark generation. You know, that takes away our environment, takes away our trees, takes away the elephants, takes away our lions. And then what are we?
Are we doing enough to stop that?
Today, not much. I would say there's a lot of initiatives everywhere. We are contributing as a responsible organization. But I believe that we're going to address the security issues today in the country today. You're going to address your migration issue at the national level. But let me say that the curve is already turned. What I like about it is what is the direction of the curve?
Yeah, where is
it
the curve
upwards?
going?
So we've kind of taken the turn upwards. So perhaps our challenge now is to accelerate the momentum in terms of how we can bring many people aligned to protecting our environment.
And Joshua, you know, you interact with the presidents of our countries, you interact with the top policymakers. Are you confident that we have got the people there who share this vision with you? Because you have a very powerful vision.
I would say, Alikan, in my view, in our business today, I've never been excited today sitting an African in our markets.
Yes.
I think, literally speaking, we are in a catalytic moment to create that change. It's a moment of hope and transformation we are living in today. And I'm very convicted, you know, speaking to President Kenyatta and President Kagame, you know, speaking to President Kikwete as well. Yes. You see a sense of leaders today that are absolutely passionate about creating a change in this moment for the next generations.
And are they passionate about having East Africans like yourself drive that change?
Absolutely. We see it everywhere. And I think the moment is now just beyond the leaders.
Yes.
Yeah. Many times I think it's a question that we need to ask about what are we doing today to create a change for our own country, for our own region.
Yes.
And obviously, East Africa being a key center for Africa, in addition to West Africa, Nigeria, and also South Africa. I think if these three hubs run a faster rate of change, I think you're raising the momentum for the continent.
And that's an opportunity for me just to sort of try and wrap up a little bit, but geographically, where are we looking now, Joshua? I mean, you're in 6 countries.
Correct.
6.
Yes, exactly.
Where would the next move be, do you think, in your mind?
So it's very exciting for us today. You know, we have fantastic opportunities in the region.
I'm sure.
And so I think the challenge for us, Alikani, is not lack of a chance of market. So markets like Somalia has been very interesting for us. Markets like today in Ethiopia are very exciting for us. We're looking at markets, funny enough, in Comoros, which is very interesting for our businesses. We look at Mozambique. We look at the DRC. These markets have been in our radar for the last 3 years. And I think it's a question of being able to get a good opportunity to be able to enter in those markets. And we have always looked at more of an M&A entry into the market. When it doesn't work, we always find a natural way of building our businesses from scratch. And you know, we've proven in some markets like in Rwanda, it can be very successful. In South Sudan, it can be very successful. In some markets like Tanzania, it's been more difficult for ourselves. So, and I think the strategy is different. But also, we will definitely look at big markets. I mentioned about Ethiopia. It's still a difficult market for us.
But with the WTO, doesn't that force them to open it up a little bit, or it doesn't?
It's a journey.
It's a journey.
Our challenge as leaders in our business is to kind of see the momentum of change on where the business is on the continuum. Every country can't change today.
No, that's right.
We must be in a position to know where we to plug in. When they're
time it right.
Exactly. And that's what we're always looking for. But yet again, Alikan, you know, we look ourselves at being 20 countries in Africa. If you look at the next 10 years, that's KCB's vision. You know, 5 years ago, we wanted to be in 10 countries. We're now in 6. Correct? And we're saying the next 10 years, we want to be in 20 countries.
So absolutely. It's a big ambition.
Absolutely. I mean, and I'm very excited about that opportunity. But let me home in that even within the region, it's fantastic opportunities. You know, 3 things or 2 things that we want to do much more going forward is to improve our level of customer experience.
How would you characterize the customer experience at the moment?
So, you know, we're still targeting ourselves to reach 90 to 95% of satisfaction for our customers. We come up from the early 60s. We were 60% 3-4 years ago. But I'm not excited. I'm not yet satisfied about where we are. You know, we need to be as dynamic, as easy to access, as listening partners. I want customers that can say, I love KCB. Because that then can connect to the emotional part of my customers' philosophy, how they see their businesses. Of course, we invested a lot. So one is to engage your customers a lot on social media. And we've done, I mean, in the banking industry, we are fast on this. I don't know if there's anyone else doing what we do. Of course, our big brother Safaricom is definitely way ahead, way ahead of ourselves. We build our customer experience center today. We now have 150 staff. We had 0 staff 3 years ago. And so on, whether you're on internet chat, whether you're on WhatsApp, whether you're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you will find, and we will respond. We look at our statistics we have shown today.
Times.
We will respond to you in, we're taking about 10 seconds.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's really the issue. And then, of course, we're going to be able to build systems and processes that makes it easier for us to address the challenges customers face. So that's all about simplifying the way we do business. Generally, as financial institutions, we are generally we have some bureaucracy that we run in our business.
Yes.
But I believe that the outlier out there is customers, especially our young digital customers.
Yes, that's an interesting.
Absolutely. And I asked my young customers about the checkbook. They say, oh, wow, I don't write a check.
Yes.
I will make you. We've seen in some countries people are tweeting a payment.
Yes.
In France, for instance.
Yes.
You see?
Saw that.
Absolutely. We're seeing Facebook payments in some countries today. And so our mobile payment is such innovation which has been in our markets. And that's how our young customers run their life.
You know, I was talking to Linus, and Linus said the new generation is totally different to any other generation. And he was making a point about how someone had resigned on text. So I'm just talking about this digital generation, which you are very plugged into. Are they changing the banking customer relationship, or you know, does a bank have to understand these people? Are they different to previous generations of East Africans, or how would you characterize this?
Absolutely change. Obviously, I mean, I wouldn't say we're all learning every day.
Yeah. When
I look at the average age of East Africa today, we're talking about 18, 19 years.
Yes.
I mean, that's a complete shock.
Yes.
You know, so even most of us today, we're going to be able to understand how they are very interconnected.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, we've never seen that. And they are globally connected.
Yes, that's a fact.
We are very singular in the last 2 decades, you know, until I looked for Ali and made a phone call to him.
Yes.
Today, the way they connect today, you can see a post on your Facebook page, and a guy in Colorado today, and a guy in Joburg, and a guy in today who is based in Kiambu, Nairobi, same platform in the second.
Yes.
So, and therefore, the way they engage with our institutions is very different. So we've had to learn ourselves how to engage. No, that's why I got into Twitter myself, thanks to you.
No, I'm glad.
So we're able to engage with them a little bit much more different. I see, and a lot of the queries, and every single day we will get, you know, thousands of communications. That most of them are young people.
Yes.
And now it's very crazy. They go into branch, they will take a photo, they go to Instagram, they say, I love this, you know, this queue is not moving. So even my own managers.
The intelligence that
exactly,
you're getting from
them. So it puts every single person on their toes.
Yes.
Yeah, so with 250 branches, you can imagine what happens. I kind of have a dashboard on a daily basis about progress, service levels.
Yes.
And that's how we're able to respond on a real time. I don't think we will survive in your business today if we are not engaging your customers on social media. Yes. And I think it's an area that we must continuously learn to build excellence in that level.
Joshua, this has been a fantastic, I just want to wrap it up and look out there 12 months, 18 months down the road. What does the business look like?
So we're sitting in a very good moment over time. And I think speaking about KCB, speaking about the industry as well. So I also happen to sit as the chairman of the Kenya Bankers Association. But I'm also looking at even other sectors, you know, tourism, you know, telecommunication, manufacturing. There's a lot of big ticket deals in the market today. And therefore, our role is to be able, I say it's the last dash in winning a marathon. So we've been running a momentum. Now it's more accelerating that change in our business. So in terms of the small and medium enterprise, very excited for myself. In terms of digitizing payments, moving into Cashlight, very important for us in terms of, with partnerships, of course. In terms of growing our region, we will see our regions contributing up to 20% of the group in 24 months. And that's very good for 24 months from the current 10%. We do believe this year we'll reach 12%. If we look at our level of service, we really want to increase our level of service to 95%. In the next year. It's actually more like a 12-month target for our business. And we want to be able to bring in much more customers within our network in Kenya and East Africa to believe that they can get their services. This the mobile level of revolution actually will run more into this more activity in Rwanda today. We'll see more activity in Tanzania as well.
Uganda launched 4G, I saw.
Absolutely. And this is why I talk a little bit more about my love for the way Rwanda leaders envision technology to convert the way customers run. So broadband, for instance, and I'm loving that in Kenya we are already going into LTE or 4G. Wi-Fi hotspots. I mean, I like my customers coming next year to my branches to have a Wi-Fi.
You're going to create hotspots.
Absolutely, in my branches. But that is
a digital revolution.
This is how customers see. You know, today you see you're in a bus which has Wi-Fi enabled as you travel across. You know, from Nairobi going to Mombasa, going somewhere else. You see a mat from Nairobi to Ngong. You're going to Wi-Fi. And this kind of. This is the life of the future. It is now.
Yes.
So if we can build that kind, and obviously we want to spend more time, Alikan, on sustainability, engaging in conversations, not just as KCB, but across the industry and the capital markets. I do believe that as we've seen progress in South Africa, these conversations is happening in Nairobi.
Yes.
But it needs to happen across many countries in the continent. And if you look at the last century, speaking, when you were launching, and this will be my closing remarks, when I was speaking in our launch of our sustainability report, and the director for UNEP, Akim Steiner mentioned that perhaps the most intriguing thing today is that we sitting in this moment have the chance to create a change the world for the next 2,000 years.
That was a great comment.
And that's really we're going to do something. And there's no other person except us today who can create that change for the next 10 generations. I think it's absolutely powerful. We can change the environment. We can change the economic model of our nation today. We can be able to inspire our younger people to run the race of extraordinary. We can also make sure that we are integrating and bringing more people into the financial system. Now that, in my view, is in a nutshell is what we want to do. So if we can speak the conversation around building a sustainable business, you know, and that's why we'll be very firm ourselves around issues around code of business conduct. We'll be very firm about child labor today. We'll be very firm about how we engaging the younger people. Diversity, for instance, in our organization, dealing with disability in our organization, our recruitment. And I believe that is one way, managing our energy consumption or our CO2 reductions. Are we dealing with those issues? In the past, financial markets.
No one would have bothered with these metrics.
But I'm very excited when I see that in European markets.
I
see that in American markets. I now see that in South African markets, especially in South Africa. We've seen Nigeria already adopt sustainability measures across the banking sector. The previous governor, Governor Sanusi, 2 years ago. So we're seeing good I see that there are many lights bubbling in the map of Africa
want them to spread out
today. So if you can see 54 lights in the continent at the same time, you can see the interconnection. And you can see yourself flying high as a region or as a continent in the next decade. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joshua.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you very much.